Can you hear me better now? Perfect. If you click on this video, you're probably asking yourself something like, I take good photos, so why are people not booking with me? And honestly, that's one of the biggest frustrations photographers have. Because most photographers are not struggling because they're bad, they're struggling because they don't understand what actually makes someone go from, wow, nice photo, to, I want to book this photographer now. And that is a completely different thing. So in this video, I want to break down in a very simple way. I want to show you what actually triggers booking. Not like, not compliments, not you're so talented, actual booking. Because there are photographers with average work making money, and there are photographers with amazing work who still can get clients consistently. So clearly, the problem is not only photographer, the missing piece is strategy. And once you understand that, everything starts to make more sense. My name is Kev, the creator. I've been a photographer for more than 10 years, and I help photographers make a living from their work. And one thing I've seen again and again when coaching photographers is that most of them believe beautiful photos should be enough. They think if the work is good, people will naturally book. That's not how the market works, because people scroll. They scroll fast. They see one thing, then another, then another. So if your message doesn't create a reason to act now, they move on. Even if your work is amazing, that's the truth. And once you accept that truth, you stop taking it personally and you start building something that actually works. So let's talk about what triggers booking. There are two ideas you need to understand first: urgency and scarcity. These two things are simple, but they change everything. Urgency is about time. Scarcity is about quantity. Urgency means this is available now, but not forever. Scarcity means there are only few spots. And when you combine both, you create the exact kind of psychological trigger that helps people make a decision faster. Let me make it very simple. Urgency sounds like this: only available this month, offer ending in 3 days, last chance to book this experience in March. Scarcity sounds like only 5 spots available, last 2 sessions left, almost fully booked. Now, why is this powerful? Because most photographers communicate like this: book a photo shoot with me. That sounds nice, but there's no urgency, there's no scarcity, and there's no reason to do it now. So the client's brain says, cool, maybe later. And later usually means never. That's the part photographers don't understand. It's not that people hate your work, it's that your communication gives them permission to wait. And if people can wait, most of them will. So when a photographer tells me ads don't work, the market is saturated, it's impossible to make money with photography, most of the time that's not really the issue. The issue is that the offer and the communication don't trigger action. That's it. And by the way, this applies whether someone sees your post organically or if you are running ads. Same principle. If there is no reason to act now, people keep scrolling. Now here's something important. Your photo can be beautiful, that helps. Of course it helps. But beauty alone is not a booking strategy. A beautiful photo gets attention. A strategic message gets action. You need both. And this is actually very good news, because it means that if your work is already strong, you may be much closer than you think. You don't need to become 10 times better as a photographer. You may simply need to package and communicate your offer in a way that triggers decision. I've seen photographers get results very fast when they understood this. Sometimes within 24 hours, sometimes it takes a week, sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes we need to test and adjust. But the point is this: if something doesn't work right away, don't freak out. It doesn't mean you're not good enough, it doesn't mean your market is dead, it just means you haven't found the sweet spot yet. That's a massive difference, because once you think like that, you stop being emotional about every result, you become strategic. You start testing, you start observing, you start improving, and that is how you win. I have a vision for this channel, to create something that doesn't exist yet. The Photography Olympics, a place where the best photographers in the world compete live. But to make this real, I need you. Because the faster we reach 1 million subscribers, the faster sponsor will believe in this project. So if you're watching this right now, just press that subscribe button. It's one simple move, but it changed everything for the vision. Now let's go deeper. A lot of photographers try to sell the shoot, but what really sells is the experience. You're not just selling photos. You're selling how people will feel. You're selling the moment, you're selling the transformation, you're selling the way they will see themselves. That's huge, especially in portrait photography. People don't just want files. They want to feel seen, they want to feel beautiful, they want to feel powerful. They want to feel like a model for a day. So instead of communicating like a technician, communicate like someone offering an experience. For example, experience a professional photo shoot. Feel like a model for a day. You've never seen yourself like this before. That already feels different. Now add urgency to it. This month only, experience a professional photo shoot. Now I start to create momentum. Now it feels like something real. And the more real it feels, the stronger it becomes. That's another important point. Urgency works best when it's true. People are not stupid. If every month you said last chance, but nothing ever changes, eventually it loses power. So how do you make urgency real? You tie it to something real, a real date, a real location, a real setup, a real calendar. For example, I'm shooting in New York this month only. I've rented the studio for one specific date. This special setup is only available this week. I only have 4 slots open this day. Now the message has weight. Now it feels believable. Now people feel that if they wait, they may actually miss something. And that's exactly what you want. You want the client's brain to think, if I wait, I might lose the opportunity. That is what triggers action. Now let's talk about one of the stronger forms of scarcity, the calendar. This is super powerful. Imagine showing a visual calendar in your story or your ad. Some dates are crossed out, a few are still open. Immediately, it changes the perception. It signals demand. Tells people, this photographer is active, this photographer is booked, this photographer is wanted. And perception matters a lot. Because people don't only buy photography, they buy confidence. They buy certainty. They buy the feeling that they are choosing someone valuable. So when you show availability in a strategic way, you increase perceived value. For example, only 4 spots available this month, 2 sessions left, available on March 28th only. Very simple, very effective. And here's where it gets even stronger. Let's say one person book. Now you update the calendar. You cross one more spot. Now your scarcity becomes visible. Now people can literally see the movement. That creates momentum. That creates FOMO, fear of missing out. And yes, FOMO is real. It's one of the strongest psychological forces in marketing. People hate missing an opportunity, sometimes even more than they want the thing itself. So lines like, don't miss this, this won't be available again. If you've been thinking about this, this is the moment, now or never. This line worked because they force a decision, not aggressively, strategically. Now let me say something else that photographer needs to hear. Your work may already be sellable, you may already be good enough. I'm literally seeing less talented photographers make money because they understood positioning better. I've seen photographers with average portraits still triggers booking because they knew how to create demand. So if you're watching this and doubting yourself all the time, take a breath. You do not need to wait until you become perfect. You need to learn how to market what you already do. That's a different skill, and that skill can be learned. And if you also feel like giving this a real shot to actually become a full-time photographer, right now I'm working with a few photographers, one in New York, Cleveland, France, Ibiza. I can't predict the result you'll get, but I can show you the result I've seen with the photographer I've worked with.
I had no direction really in that avenue. It was almost just like, post and hope. Yeah, that was my situation, really.
It was like very frustrating to me.
Before taking this mentoring, I was a little bit lost. I needed a little bit of guidance.
I got paid through the ads. It was suddenly, oh wow, yeah, this method does work.
Apart from the photography side and all of the things that I learned with the coaching, I came back to be me, and that's something I lost.
In one sentence, I would say that it is something that I would like to do again. I enjoyed it very much.
If this story speaks to you, you'll find a link to go through a test to assess your anti-fragile foundation across each peer. The goal is simple. If we end up working together, to get you to a point where everything is green. Once you get your score, you'll go through a few questions about your ideal clients to understand where you actually want to go. Because for every photographer, it's different. Then you land on a page where you see a video where I explain my journey as a photographer and how I built this pillar. After that, you'll see the photographer I've worked with and their results. And from there, you can reach out to me on Instagram. And if you're ready, we'll talk.